The Central Bank of Nigeria is clamping down on POS fraud with geo-tagging and global payment standard, aiming to make every digital transaction traceable and trustworthy. Now, digital payments are reshaping commerce across Nigeria, from Lagos to Onitsha, and from Abuja to Benin. Busy streets to the country's growing online marketplace, cash is slowly losing ground to electronic transaction. But the problem, like fraud, technical glitches, and uneven access, continue to complicate the country's embrace of a full digital economy. Now, to address this issue, the Central Bank of Nigeria Governor, Olayemi Kadoso, is steering the CBN towards stricter oversight of point-of-sale terminals and other electronic payment systems. One of the components of these reform is that all POS devices must now be geo-tagged with GPS and registered with a licensed payment aggregator, and terminals are allowed to operate only within 10 meters of their registered location. Now, the CBN has also set a 60-day compliance window for existing terminals with a full migration deadline of October 31st, 2025. Now, the mind this seems to be a lofty measure. It seems not to have gotten down well with many of the POS operators who claim, or rather complain, of its restriction and the timeline or deadline for its compliance. So what needs to be done to ensure that thousands of POS operators are not disengaged because of this new policy? And how can this policy help rather than affect small and medium-scale businesses in Nigeria? Well, this edition of Dialogue is all about this, hence a need for us to talk about it. We're talking about the CBN policies and its impact on Nigerian small and medium-scale businesses, looking at that very directive coming from the CBN governor. And that's what we're taking as a critical look, knowing that in just a couple of days' time, to be precise, just 26 days' time, all POS operators that are not registered or also tagged will not operate again in the country. Well, anyway, to help us talk about this, he's a social critic and economist, and I'm talking of no other person but Mr. Christopher Omoregbe. Good morning and welcome to the show, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Michael Ray. Just to correct that, I'm not a social critic, but I'm a social problem solver. Yeah, social problem solver. Yeah. Greetings to viewers at home.
Well, anyway,
viewers in the diaspora. Greetings.
We'll be trying to see if we can really solve this issue. And I'm happy you said you're not a public critic, but a social problem solver. Yeah. So let's look into it now. Now, this new circular, when we got wind of it, is titled Migration to ISO 222, which is standard payment messaging and mandatory geotagging on payment terminal, and was issued on, to be precise, August the 25th, if you can still remember. Yeah. And it was also signed by the Director of Payment System Supervision, Department of the CBN, Dr. Yusuf and Rekia. I could still remember she signed it. Now, in their own interpretation, it is meant to curb the issue of fraud. That is the reason they put this all up, knowing that fraud has really been a major problem that have affected our digital space as it concerns e-banking. So, but in all of that, I'm just only interested to get your view as it concerns this very move.
The truth is that, greetings to viewers at home. The truth is that this policy, from the way I see it, is a disaster, a very huge disaster for that matter. And I want to really unveil this to everybody, the public, so that they can know that this is a disaster. Because
this disaster in what sense?
In the sense that if you look at it, it means that if the CBN goes ahead to implement this policy, it has the end of inter-street banking. Okay. There will be no longer interlocal government banking, let alone interstate banking. It is gone. And if you take your mind back to prior to 2018, before the advent of these payment terminals,
2013,
you know the snail speed we encounter in Nigeria in terms of transactions, you know the failures in payment transactions. But this mobile payment came and turned the whole industry around, and today transaction as fast as the speed of lightning. No more failure in terms of payment transactions and the rest. They are brought to the barest minimum. Yeah. Okay? So if you look at it, according to the Nigeria Interbank Settlement System, it reveals that just in the first quarter of this year, the payment transaction alone in this industry is over 10 trillion naira.
Yes, most certainly.
And I can project that if this policy is not implemented, we'll be looking at over 40 trillion naira by the end of this year. And in 3 to 5 years' time, we'll be looking at something like over 200 trillion naira in terms of payment transaction only in this industry. So the mobility of the industry is the oxygen.
Let me get you clearly. You feel this will hamper the smooth sale of e-banking in the country?
As a matter of fact, it's going to turn the mobile banking industry to a static banking industry because the payment terminals can no longer perform transactions outside 10-meter radius.
Okay, now I feel we need now to go there. So we'll let our listeners and viewers understand what we are saying. Now, let's look really at this policy. And where I find interesting, just like what you've raised, is the geotagging. Yeah. That's what you're talking of, which requires every POS machine, according to what they said, must capture and transmit its location at the start of transaction with its activities not outside a 10-meter radius.
Yes.
And that's not only it, that if it comes out of that 10-meter radius, it will be automatically flagged. And if it's now flagged, no transaction will be barred from processing transaction. Now, this is a move that they feel will curb fraud. Now, it has shown that in the first quarter of this year, fraud increased by 31.12% on the POS terminal. Okay. And that was the reason they said they came out with this idea. Now, let's look at it. I know you said it will hamper smooth scale and full transaction as it concerns e-banking, but will it not also deal with the issue of fraud that is being instituted to deal with? That is the question.
The truth is that if you look at it, the fraud issue,
yes,
like there are solutions to eliminate that fraud without going through this route. Because as a matter of fact, it's going to be a huge humiliation to the Central Bank of Nigeria that because of some mushroom fraudsters, you are going to turn the fledgling and thriving mobile banking industry to a static banking industry. It's as a matter of fact, it's tantamount to say you saying that because of counterfeit naira, you are going to abolish the paper naira. In short, that is what our government are always doing. When they cannot solve problem, they put it back to the populace. What are we paying them for? What are you using taxpayers' money for? You mean you cannot solve there are even solutions, which I'm going to provide to the CBN governor.
Okay.
There are solutions
we'll
to get rid of this or to mitigate the fraud in this industry without going to this.
But you do know that the reason they're also doing this, POS machine can be easily moved from one location to another, and we've seen issue of ransom payments on account of this. We've seen serious fraud on account of this, and the tracking, GPS tracking, as is being said, will be introduced into this geotagging, will help to deal with the issue of you tracking these devices and knowing where the POS money are being sent to.
You see, if you come to medical field, sir, the doctors, if they want to do some certain things, they look at the advantage and the disadvantage. And when the advantage is more than the disadvantage, they advise you to go for the advantage. All right? Yeah. But in this case, I tell you, the disadvantage is more because it's going to infringe on our privacies. If as a matter of fact, it's going to be the beginning of tracking of Nigerians. And in this industry, we have over 4 million agents and merchants in this industry. Yeah. If their locations and their will be tracked in real time, they can also extend this policy to smartphone users. That's it. And this could just be the beginning of tracking of Nigerians. So the advantage of this, the disadvantage of this policy outweigh the advantage. As a matter of fact, I don't see any advantage in this policy because it's a problem. It's not even a solution. It's not a solution at all. It's not a solution at all. So they should implement it. We are already in the digital space, and every transactions we have digital footprints. All right, we have everybody. If CBN can make it mandatory for all players, all customers in the system to go through the BVN,
Okay.
if anybody commit fraud, that person can be traced. And as a matter of fact, Michael Ray, I want you to know that we should not suffer because of fraudsters. In the sense that innocent Nigerians, clean Nigerians should not suffer because of fraudsters. Imagine taking away my banking freedom, taking away, invading my privacy because of some mushroom fraudsters. It means they have won. That is what it means. It means they have won. So our banking freedom is at stake here. Our privacy is at stake here. Technology is to serve the purpose of humanity. I know humanity is serving the purpose of technology. So imagine us being tracked in these guys of saying they want to combat fraud. You know the monumental fraud that is taking place in the CBN. The CBN today doesn't even have lock. That's it. That's the kind of CBN we find ourselves today. Doesn't even have lock. The monumental fraud that is going on. Imagine the CBN governor coming to tell us that over 26 billion US dollar left the economy through Binance. And they don't know who did that. They cannot even ascertain who did that. Take note, that amount of money is enough to build a refinery that is bigger than the Dangote refinery. Dangote refinery just cost 20 billion US dollar. Over 26 billion US dollar.
Well, okay, now let's leave the fraud that you allege is in the CBN and come back to this very policy. Now, I do know that when it comes to POS operators, according to our finding, the country as it stands today has about 8 million or 8.36
over 8 million.
Yes, million registered POS operators. And funny enough, just last year we had 5.9 million users of the POS. This is almost like 119% increase. Now let's look at how it's going to impact. Do you feel that we are likely going to have a reduced number of persons running the POS terminal? Or as they said, when you clean up the system, you have more willing hands ready to come in. So let's look at it. Is it going to have more of a negative or a positive impact? Putting in mind that when a system is very transparent, more persons are welcome into it.
If you look at it, this policy is going to cripple the industry because a lot of Nigerians will not want to trade their privacy because of this business. As a matter of fact, they are even managing the business. It's just nothing to do. That's why they are even into it. So coming with this kind of policy will make them to leave. And even the CBN target to bring this financial inclusion is at stake here because these mobile agents and merchants are the foot soldiers, are the foot soldier of the banking industry. Prior to this coming, we don't have this inclusion in the country. People just relax in the conventional bank system and doing nothing. But these people take the bank to the people. And the CBN is not even aware of that. You want to cripple it. As a matter of fact, since they announced this policy, it has been causing hopelessness in Nigeria. That's the truth about it. And it's even a threat to the $1 trillion economy of Mr. President. That's what the CBN need to know. Because this industry is a multi-trillion dollar naira industry. Yeah. And you implemented this policy, I see it that this policy might become like the failed and disastrous naira redesigning policy of 2022. Because disrupting this industry, because today, majority of transaction takes place through the POS terminals. So disrupting the industry is going to be like the failed naira redesigning policy, and it's going to affect the economy. And you know, our economy is vulnerable. It's vulnerable. Economy that is under just 200 billion US dollar. So affecting this industry is going to cripple the economy more.
Now, anyway, if you feel that's your point on it, that it is going to hamper rather than increase, I want us to also look, because it's not just only the geotagging that will be a major shift, especially as it concerns the CBN. Another new policy they want to adopt is the ISO 222 Global Standard for Payment Messaging, which they also are expecting that all POS operator should have it by the 31st of October. And this very standard of payment is being developed by SWIFT. And not only that, this standard is a way to unify messages for transaction, enhancing data quality as according to understand, and also indeed helping to strengthen domestic and cross-border payment, which we know will also align Nigerian payment ecosystem with international standard, which the CBN hope, as they say, will attract foreign investors, giving investors that growing interest in digital financing platform. Now, this is another new lofty idea, according to the CBN, that would go side by side with the geotagging. They want to change and ensure, they want to ensure that all POS points should have this Android kind of look, rather than the local way most of these POS points are. They want it to have that Android look so that you can even make payments in Nigeria and it reflects in America. And they feel if you bring in this ISO 222 standard, it will help to bring even foreign investors that are willing to also participate in our digital banking system. Now, would this not help to revolutionize? Because you are saying it's there to kill it. But would this lofty idea not help to revolutionize the e-banking sector in Nigeria and make us look more international friendly and international?
That policy, the latter policy is a good policy.
Yeah.
Nobody's against that. All right? But we're talking about the mobility that they want to eliminate. And the mobility is the power of this industry. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you have heard about the central switch.
Yeah, that's the switch.
Good. Now that central switch, they can also use that central switch to even affect Nigerians.
In what sense?
In one sense that some persons can be switched off. They can be switched off. That means they determine whether you are going to bank or not to bank. That's another thing again. A central switch. A region can just be switched off. A region can be switched off, and we all will just go off banking. Are you seeing that? So there is a lot of things that are gray things here.
Areas that need
a lot of gray areas here. We should, as a matter of fact, we should not take our privacy for granted in this country. Our privacy is very, very important. You cannot, because of some mushroom fraudsters or ragtag fraudsters, that you cannot arrest. This is what they always do in this country. Because they failed to eliminate fraud in the petroleum industry, they came to remove subsidy that is very, very beneficial to Nigerians. And today, look at Nigeria today. Look at the economy today. This is an economy that was over $500 billion. Today is under 200 billion US dollar. So the inefficiencies of CBN, they should not transmit it to us. They can solve this fraud in the industry, which is the cardinal reason for this policy. They can solve it without the implementation of this policy. Yes, it can be solved.
Now, you talked about solutions, because I want us to go there. So it doesn't look as if we're only there to criticize, but also to see if we can perfect solutions and pave way for the CBN. Now, if you feel this is not a good idea in dealing with the issue of fraud, what other measures can the CBN introduce to help eliminate the issue of fraud? Because we do agree that the rate of fraud, especially as it concerns POS fraud, has greatly increased. We know. Yeah, just like you said, transaction in Nigeria has increased, especially as it concerns POS points. Over 10 point something trillion has in the first quarter alone, which is a huge sum. And you know, when there are huge sums like these, there's every tendency that fraud will be also attracted into it. So in your own honest assessment, what can the CBN do rather than this policy?
Now, first of all, if you look at it, in this age and time, we're in the artificial intelligence age, we're in the blockchain and cryptocurrency age. You understand? Look at Rwanda here. They are launching flying taxis, flying downfall. That's what it means. Flying downfall, an East Africa country here. And here we are discussing taking Nigeria, our banking industry, to the analog age, the brick and mortar banking and finance system. That is what the CBN want to take this country to. We should be talking about, we're in the age of whereby every spot on planet Earth is a potential banking hall with the presence of internet. Transaction can take place in the
Anywhere.
creek of the Niger Delta. It can take place on the mountain in the north. It can take place anywhere you have internet network. Okay? That's the kind of era we find ourselves. So we don't really expect this kind of policy in the first place. Okay? So talking about solutions, apart from the fact that this policy is already causing hopelessness, is going to cripple mobile businesses as we're going to see it, it's going to affect the economy. There are multiple ways to eliminate fraud to the barest minimum in this industry without going through this implementation of this disastrous policy. Number one first is that the CBN should make it mandatory that before you access the Nigerian banking ecosystem, you must go through the bank verification exercise. Okay? And you know that that information from that exercise is very robust. You can use it to track any criminal. Even though the criminal will leave this country, we get them with Interpol. All right? We can use that. Your facial image is collected, your fingertips, your biometrics, they are collected and verified, so you can be tracked. That is one point. So make it mandatory. If you don't go through that bank verification exercise, you don't have access to the what? To the banking ecosystem. Okay. So with that, anybody that commits fraud, that person can be tracked, arrested, investigated. Real time. Okay? That is one point. Then secondly, the CBN can also deploy sophisticated AI security tools in real time across board. All right? All players in the industry will have their own AI security tools to monitor the behaviors of customers, of which we will commend OP and the Pampi and the likes.
Sorry.
That's true. So we need to commend some of these fintech companies who are already doing these things. Do you know that if you want to move large amount of money from your account, for example, the system will ask you to verify your face.
Okay.
So when they capture your face again, if it doesn't match, there's no way you can move that fund. So that's a security check in place. That check fraudsters. Okay. Now the fourth thing is that Nigerians are very smart.
Yeah.
All you need to do is to give them proactive banking education to be ahead of fraudsters. You understand? If they give Nigerians banking education, I tell you that Nigerians will so use this education that will so frustrate these mushroom fraudsters that they will have no options. They have nobody to defraud. They have no option than to leave the industry and go and look for legitimate business to do in the country. Give proactive banking education that will make us to be ahead of the fraudsters. Then we talk about the issue that I've been clamoring for about a ransom payment, which, in my own opinion, is still an allegation because are they giving any agent in this country a 50 million naira to go and use to trade? No, let's be realistic now. Are they giving agents 50 million, even 20 million?
On the POS point.
On the POS point? Are they giving any agent that amount of money? So my solution I want to profile is that the CBN can do a categorization, categorize the agents and merchants, all right, into different categories. Then you can even do a background check for criminals. Okay, so that you don't have a kidnapper that will come and impersonate as an agent, all right, in the system. So when you profile them like that, categorize them, the very clean ones, you can give them a huge amount of money. The ones that they know what to do. They know what to do than to go ahead and I'm looking at this industry. This is the brainchild of Nigerians who are not bankers. They invented this industry by their own sheer imaginations. All right? Who are not bankers. And today, the industry today is providing a lot of money. The government is making a lot of revenue from this industry.
And funny enough, it's more of the fastest growing employment of labor in the country.
Very good.
As for now.
A lot of families are benefiting from this industry. Like I said, in the next 3 to 5 years, I see this industry, payment in Israel above over 200 trillion naira in this industry alone. Because of the innovation that is taking place, because of the easybility of those things. So the CBN need to come out with the solution.
So do you feel they are gagging or they are planning to gag?
Very good. They are, as a matter of fact, they are gagging it. They want to gag it. And I can tell you that the conventional banking system, because they see the speed. I don't know why are we like this in this country. They see the speed of this industry. And now they are not coming. The CBN want to play into their hands. And let me say to the CBN that the CBN this country stand a risk to become the only country on planet Earth whereby a POS will come into Nigeria, it will lose its mobile capability. And that same POS will leave this country and gain its mobile capability. The kind of impression we want to give to the outside was as if we are adverse to modern technology. They want to turn us to bushmen. That is what it means.
And we will not be going to the cave, but rather remain in the studio. Now, one question I want to still ask you, yeah, because we will not be bushmen today. We'll just rather put on our ties and still put on our suits. Now, let's look at small-scale businesses in Nigeria. Let's leave this policy for now.
Okay.
And let's come to the issue of small-scale businesses in Nigeria. And look at the environment we seem to be. In all honesty, do you feel some of the policies being churned out by government and their agencies are in any way beneficial to the growth of small-scale and medium-scale businesses in the country? And if I know your answer might be no, then what seems to be the problem? Why are we not itching towards more policies that are business-friendly and retaining those that seems to be detrimental to the growth of the business?
The truth is that if you look at it, Michael,
yeah,
I think that these people, they don't really know what they are doing. I mean, for saying that, because if you look at it, for example, right now, the purchasing power of Nigerians are very, very low. There is no disposable income in this country because the policy of a subsidy is gone.
And the deregulation of Naira.
Or the deregulation of Naira, okay? So the small businesses today, in fact, as a matter of fact, people have it. Let me tell you, Michael, you know that a lot of Nigerians, millions of Nigerians are surviving by these online loans.
Online loans?
Online loans. I tell you the fact, if you do your investigation, you'll be so shocked that a lot of Nigerians, millions of Nigerians in their hundreds, they are indebted to online loans. Is that what it used to be before? No. So, you that have business, you go out for business, but there's no patronage. People need service, they don't have the money to buy, to pay for services because of all this kind of policy. So we don't even expect a policy like this that is going to even throw people out of job again. Joe tagging and Joe fencing. The truth is that, like I've said, this policy is very excellent for INEC. Take for instance, I'm telling you, don't, it's the truth. It's the truth. Imagine if all our polling units, activities taking place there, they are all Joe tagged, monitored and tracked in real time, my career. All our collation centers, activities taking place are Joe tagged, monitored and tracked in real time. And as they want to come about this electoral reform, make it mandatory that the result must be transmitted in real time, tracked, monitored, and tracked in real time. I tell you, I kid you not, Mr. Ray, we're not going to have just only the best democracy in Africa, but in the world.
So are you saying
and
the CBN
CBN
governor should now be the INEC chairman?
What I'm saying is that
confused with
what I'm saying is that the INEC chairman should, as a matter of fact, should go ahead and adopt that policy and implement it in INEC as soon as possible. Not only in INEC, but also in the petroleum industry. Take, for example, if all the oil wells of this country are geotagged, monitored and tracked in real time, if all the pipelines are geotagged, monitored and tracked in real time, if all the oil vessels in this country coming and going out are monitored and tracked in real time, I tell you, Mr. Ray, we are going to bring oil theft to the barest minimum in this country. It's going to be reduced drastically. This is where the policy is needed in petroleum industry and in INEC. As a matter of fact, the president of this great country, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who also doubles as the Minister of Petroleum, as a matter of fact, desperately needs this policy to adopt it in as soon as possible to bring oil theft to the barest minimum so that we can increase our revenue. We're looking for money. And where this policy is needed, they are not taking it to that place.
So there's no point taking it to the POS.
No, it's not needed there. It's a disaster there because it's going to turn the industry to a static banking industry. It's a mobile banking industry, for God's sake. You know what it means that we have interlocal government transaction, interstate transaction. For example, I have a business in a local government. I can take my this and that. Okay, look at even the Commonwealth Games that is coming in 2030. Do you mean that if an event is taking place in Warri Stadium, for example, and I'm in Okwoko, I cannot do business in Warri Stadium? That is what it means.
Yeah.
This what the policy is going to do. It's going to kill the mobility of business, which is the oxygen, the life wire of this industry. This is what we want the CBN governor to know, that look, this policy is a disaster. Like I've given the four solutions I've profiled. If they can implement that, there will be no need for this policy. We should not allow the ragtag mushroom fraudsters to win. The innocent Nigerians should not bear the brunt for fraudsters. They should not take away our banking freedom. They should not invade our privacies. The privacies of the great citizens of Nigeria must be respected. It must be respected.
Okay, now, anyway, time is not a friend. Funny enough, we've been talking for more than 40 minutes now. And but my own, I want us to come quickly to the exit of this discussion. And yes, you've just talked about solution. And you feel the solution, like you put about almost a 4-point solution to dealing with the issue of fraud. Yeah. Because fraud is the very idea and reason this policy is being thought into. Now, let's leave that and look. You've also talked about liquidity of the e-banking system and how it will hamper it. Knowing that somebody in, let's not even go far. Somebody in Ugeli cannot carry his POS to worry. Somebody in Asaba cannot carry his POS to worry. Somebody in Sapele will have to do his own business only in Sapele.
Even in your street, you cannot even go outside your street. That's what they mean. 10-meter radius.
Okay.
It's nonsense.
Okay, well anyway. Now, on the mind you feel that way, for you, what will be another major impact or direction normal point of sales terminal or POS should take to either improve its visibility and improve its way of doing business? Because we've just talked about the CBN and giving ideas of what direction they should take. For you, where do you feel the POS business should be in the next 5 years? What should we be looking at? What should be the gains of the POS? This started in 2013, and many persons felt it was just a business that will come and go over the years. But that seems not to be the case. If you go to the streets of Adamawa, to the rural areas in Kaduna, you go to Yobe, Damaturu to be precise, or you come to Ovun Delta, and you go to the very interlands of Okokoko, or you go anywhere in Nigeria, you must always see a POS operator. So, but for you, what direction should it be in the next 5 years? Should we still remain in this level we are, or a new direction and a new change should follow?
Very great question, Michael Ray. I really appreciate that question. You see, to answer that question, it's going to take us another 1 hour.
Well, please, we don't. I doubt if we have 1 hour.
I have a very nice blueprint for the POS operators, because as it stands, the truth is that we are being exploited.
Exploited, you say?
Yes, we are being exploited by central bank, by the fintech company. Yes,
that's a huge
Nigerians. Do you know that you pay 2% for every transactions you make through the POS? 2%. 2%. What does that mean? It means that if you go and you want to collect 100,000 naira, for example, you are paying 2,000 naira to get your own money. You know what it means? 2%. Where is it done on earth? That is what we pay to get our own money. As a matter of fact, let me tell you another shocking thing. Nigeria probably is the only country where we have a black market for the naira. We buy naira in our own country, my career. We buy naira. We have a black market for naira. So naira is being sold in Nigeria. So that's why I said, if we want to really look at it, I have already thought about this. If we want to look at it, we're going to spend another 40 minutes again, another day. We look at Nigeria has been shortchanged. Even the POS operators, they are being shortchanged in this whole scheme here. That's why I said the Central Bank of Nigeria, the fintech operators, and the commercial banks that also have these terminals, they are shortchanging the POS operators. They are shortchanging us, the users. Yeah. And I'm going to break that down another time when you invite me. I'm going to break it down. We're going to change.
Mr. Christopher, I will plead with you because, it's also good we let our viewers understand that with the new messaging system, it's going to cost more. That's all honesty. Okay. The ISO 222 SWIFT model that the CBN is going to introduce is more of an advanced banking system in messaging that will make the consumers need to pay extra as it concerns the charges. So let's be prepared for that, because that's how it's going to be. And like I said, the CBN has given the directive that on the 31st day of October, all POS points in the country must adapt to this new policy. But the question is, will it in every way increase business, or does it have a negative impact, just like our guest, Mr. Christopher Omoregbe, feels that it's not going to be good for the e-banking sector in Nigeria, but rather seem to be detrimental. But like you said, well, time is not a friend, and we are honestly out of time. We've been talking for more than 40 minutes now on account of this, and we might really just need to bring you back on point, because when it comes to huge employment of labor, we'll say the POS points has really contributed immensely to that. And also when it comes to e-banking, the ease of doing business has also in every way increased. So we might really need to bring you back. But we will not go without really thanking you. I'm talking of no other person. I like to call him Evangelist Christopher. That's what we do know him. Well, he might be talking like a pastor, but a banking pastor, you understand. And I'm talking of Mr. Christopher Omoregbe. Well, he's a, how do you put it again? Not a public analyst.
Okay, I'm a social problem solver. A social problem solver. By the grace of God, I'm also the chancellor of Forever Blissful Life Institute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. It's a new acronym, especially as it concerns media, and I really need to say thank you so much for adding your voice to this. And like I said, we might just really be bringing you on point to really another day to really help us and look at some other major issues. But all the same, thank you so much. Well, anyway, that's more like a wrap on Dialogue today. I will always implore you that go drop your comments on our different social media platforms. They'll be there on your screen. And let's get your view, especially as it concerns this policy. Will it be detrimental to the overall growth of the e-banking system? Or do you feel that we will have more better days ahead, especially looking at if, and I say if, the CBN goes truly with that policy. But like I stated earlier, this policy will come into effect on the 31st day of this very month. If you are not registered yet, if you are not with the iOS 222, or you've not done your geotagging, sorry, your POS terminals will be bad. So please, as a matter of urgency, ensure that you do the needful. I still remain Michael Gobadia. Bye for now.